I've done that because the original one is like that. In fact, see, the original one's got a bit of an angle on the metalwork. I may well do that, and it's actually falls in line with the stock as well. Now I've tried to do that slightly. There's mine. Now the next thing I'm going to do, as I said, mine's wider because my stock's slightly wider at that point, but it'll do for me. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do this little piece here. You see, it's like a lump of steel with a screw going through it, and then that swings on the screw in a notch in the centre of it. So I've got this piece of flat steel bar. Now first of all, I've drilled a hole through it about 3.5 millimeters in diameter, and I've then sawn it out of the bar. So I'm going to weld that on here. Then after I've welded it in, I'm then going to grind the notch out in the centre. But before I grind the notch out, I might put a tap through one side of this so that it's threaded. I'm not sure. I might do it after I've cut the notch out. It might be easier then. But to weld this on, I'm going to cut an angle, or grind an angle, on the front and back edges. Then I'm going to place that on there and weld it in, and then grind the surplus weld off, so you can't actually see it. Well, not as obviously. Okay, so that should sit in there. Like so. Yeah, so to clamp it up in the right position, I just clamp it in mole grips, and then clamp the mole grips in the vise at the right angle. If you put it on the right angle, you should be able to get the weld to run straight into the slot. You see how I've ground the metal on an angle there, so that the weld will run in. Right, so that's one side done, and there's the other side. found this a little bit hard to put the bends in, so what I've actually done is I've bent two pieces of this bar and then I've V'd the top on two pieces, right, so I'm going to basically weld across there and then file it back into shape. Now this part down here, don't know if you can see that line there, but basically that has to be cut off and rounded off, and then I'm going to weld that into both sides here. If you watch this, you can see they're actually independent, these two sides, but I'm going to use the fact that they're both slid in there and then I weld that up and then weld them there. Okay, the gap across the centre of this link should be 35mm, but I'm making it just a little bit wider because I suspect the belt that I've got might fit in a little bit easier with a slightly wider hole. The space should be about half an inch, 13mm. Yeah, the gap vertically. Okay, I've now assembled the sling mount. It's not perfect, it's a little bit crooked there, and the other thing I noticed after I'd done it was that shouldn't be half an inch deep, the hole. It should be 3/8 of an inch. You can see there's a difference there in the two of them. I may redo this at some point, but for now it's going to do the job. Next one I've got to do is I've got to do the sling swivel for the top here that mounts on the gas pipe. So that's just going to be a piece of steel bent round there. I might do it slightly different to the way that they've done it. I'll have a think about that, as long as it looks similar. You also see the way that that's been made. It's made in a different way to the one that's at the bottom of the gun on the buttstock. It's been made by bending this round bar, which is about 3.5mm thick, and they've flattened the two ends and drilled holes through it. I will probably just do something like the one at the bottom of the gun and then weld a small lug on the end with a hole running through it, similar to the way this one's done, but I might try and do it a little bit neater than this one. Anyway, as I say, I can always redo this, make it a little look a little bit more neat and make it look like the other. But all in all, it's starting to take shape quite well now.